All right.
All right. Hello, everyone. Just give me a sec. I'm trying to bring up the agenda. Peter, can you give me access to share or host?
Yes, done.
All right. So yeah, today is November 20th, 2024. We are pretty much at the end of this release, so I guess we should probably look at tests, focus on tests for now, and then we can discuss also. Otherwise, I don't see anything on the agenda. Does anyone want to bring anything up? Okay. I'll take silence to mean no. So I think I recognize some people on this call, and we all kind of know what's going on right now. But for recording purposes, it looks like there was some changes that went in early last week that's been kind of causing our CI signal to be pretty rough. So let me go to SIG Node. What we have found is, sorry, computer's being slow. So we have a lot of red. And if I go to release blocking, we have this note. All the serial tests seem to be having some serious problems. So you'll notice that all over Kubelet, Containerd, and Cryo are all kind of having a similar pattern. So I'll just drill into Kubelet. I guess somebody's been kicking these off to see if things are working, but for the last couple of days, we've had a lot of, you can see, well, we've narrowed it down to, if you go back to from the 12th, we were pretty green, and then from the 12th on, we were seeing a lot of test failures. It was kind of a pain to narrow down the issue. Francesco actually brought up, not even on this one, but in other tests, we were seeing that there was the memory metrics were kind of firing off because there was some tests that were not being cleaned up. And what we have found is that I think a lot of these tests were caused by the in-place pod resize PRs. There was one other change that went in around the cryo or CRI proxy was causing some problems, and that's been fixed. So that's at least where we are in the CI that I know of. I'm hoping it will. I think. Does anyone know if we merged the revert of that feature?
Not yet, but the trend seems to be towards the revert. Really, the trend. We are still discussing it. I, for myself, will be slightly against, but I understand the circumstances.
Yeah, I hear you on that one. My concern is someone also pointed out that the revert fixes the. We have a pretty nasty signal in Windows where these tests have been failing for a while, and then when they reverted that change, it fixed all of this. So
okay, that is interesting. That I would not have expected.
yeah, I agree. And so that's kind of where I'm leaning towards the revert. Like I would not have expected this one to be related, but Paco, he reverted it and ran this test, and it's green on his PR. So something is up with that feature impacting this. So I think we're probably going to go with the revert. If it was just to test fixes, I could see the point, but having this Windows signal broken, this would be a serious regression if it was a problem, obviously. So that's at least kind of where I think where we're at. Yeah, at least on this side, that's about the main problem I'm seeing. Sorry, what am I looking for? SIG node. Well, I'm hoping that once that revert happens, we'll get a better signal of tests, but it's kind of impacting. It's not it. What we think is going on. One is the resize is leaving pods around. The resize test is leaving pods around, which are causing other tests to flake.
Yeah, but this I think with the PR that we have with the delete sync, it has solved this problem, correct? So we don't have now any pods there.
Yeah, but do you know, like, do you know why the Windows failure is happening?
This is a different story. This is, I think this connects with the API. This is something different. I think there are three items. The delete and the remainings, I think this has been solved with the delete sync. And this was from the beginning, and then as I see in the discussion, it was converted to delete because we have a lot of tests in in-place pod vertical scaling, and we wanted to reduce the test duration. And I think with the delete sync, this will be solved. Now, then the impact was on other tests, which they are sensitive in the existence of pods in the kubelet. So they assume that there are no other pods, and when there are pods, they are not, they are failing.
Yeah.
So this is also an issue for the other tests, which I think in the discussion, it's a good proposal that we should decide and have like a cleanup before, using the after and before, for each test to clean and have the environment as expected. If not, then skip it. Now, another issue that I have seen in the logs is this CRI proxy, which it is resetting the CRI and then it doesn't do it because it is not finding it, and then it continues the test. So there was a commit, we have put another commit to fix it. The Windows, it is interesting, and this is something I want to check, because in place, by default, it doesn't work with Windows. So it's strange what happens. And it seems in Windows, the problem is in the SIG storage, correct? It impacts those tests.
Yeah, it seems to be there. Sorry, it seems to be SIG storage mostly. This Cappy Windows master. Yeah, I mean, it's SIG storage. I don't know, with node conformance. No idea what that even means. But yes.
So I think it's interesting situation that we are. So we will just need to continue working and
Looking at the PRs, it does look like the downgrade or the revert of promoting in place pod resize back to alpha was merged. And it does sound like there are some items to solve on that one before we re-enable it. It seems like that was just done relatively recently. So,
But regarding this founding, I mean, the PR that we have, which fixes the delete with the delete sync. I mean, it has been approved by, and it's still on hold. Should we put it there? Because, I mean, compared with and without it, we see benefits, because I see the discussion.
So the issue, I don't have a good idea. I wish I did, but I don't quite understand when we sorry, I don't know if we're running the in place tests in the normal serial lane for alpha.
We do not.
So I think like once we downgrade to alpha, actually I don't know how that works. I don't remember that test actually enabling all alpha
No,
features.
but there was a pipeline. So when we were creating those tests, so the first thing that it happened with the introduction of in-place pod vertical scaling was that the creation of node tests under E2E. Previously, we were testing it only in E2E underscore node, and then the refactoring was done to be in E2E node. And then there is a pipeline that tests it. This is how we were working the last 3 weeks.
Yeah,
So
okay.
now,
So
when it became beta, some tests that they were for alpha, we were not able to run them because they were labeled to run only when it is alpha, the feature. But this is a different story.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I mean, I don't quite understand. Like, I guess these tests are running with the feature gate off, like in alpha.
What you mean the feature gate off? There are
Well, because I'm saying now that the change was merged to revert this so that we did not promote
I don't
the.
see. Do you share something? Because I don't see anything in.
Oh,
Do you share
sorry,
the screen? Yeah.
my bad. What I'm trying to get at is I'm sharing my screen now.
Okay.
Like we had this PR, the graduate to beta merge, and I think this. What does this do? Feature. Yeah, it looks like, or maybe. Yeah, this supposedly would be downgrading so that it's by default false. So then what I'm trying to get at is once these merge, what does this test do with this feature gate off? Sorry, okay, I'm still there.
But this feature is not going to be off, correct? It's only going to make it beta, from beta to alpha, and that's all. The test itself, they enable the feature and they
No.
Yeah.
The tests do not enable features, or they shouldn't. Maybe they do, actually. Do you enable the feature gate in those tests?
In the end-to-end underscore node, it was enabled. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like the CPU manager.
It's a common practice, yes.
Sorry, what is the common? So in the test,
Enable feature gates, most notably alpha feature gates, just for the test being run in the end-to-end node suite. So it's totally possible this test it would. I won't be surprised. I don't know the specific test. I'm trusting, and
no, but I mean, like, what I would expect is that means that the test would be setting the feature gate in the kubelet config.
yeah, this was I meant. Yes.
Yeah. Actually, they are setting 3 feature gates. I mean, just for you to be aware. So we have the in-place pod vertical scaling.
All right, then.
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry. A lot of problems we run into is people assume that the feature gates are enabled without any config. But if you're enabling them in the test, that's fine then.
But it is worth going through all the pipelines and check it one by one. I mean, so the problematic is the node kubelet serial container D, correct?
It's all of them. Like, I mean, any serial job was failing, so I was seeing it on all the pretty much every job that has a serial tag. There were probably at least 10 of them. Cryo had it, and then Containerd, and then EC2 had it for all the various EKS serial ones. So it was all over. But yes, this one is a good signal, I think, for that. Node kubelet serial Containerd. That one's relatively stable, so it's usually stable. ish. But yeah, so yeah, that's at least on what I know is important to talk about. Now, the cryo proxy was one that did cause some other issues, but we ended up skipping. Basically, there is a lane for running the cryo proxy, and I think we ended up skipping that test generally. Yeah, here you go. For a little, you can go here.
Yeah.
No,
So this is
I guess
Paco's PR, correct?
yeah, though
Okay.
weird. It doesn't say it here. Okay, whatever.
But
For the other ones.
but Kevin, I mean, following the discussion from Slack, so what I found out is that the failures that we have in the logs when I checked it, there are other places where we need to check the query proxy. So it is the PR that we have in
Yeah,
the
I know
earlier
that
discussion.
one. Unfortunate. I mean, yeah, we can try and see. Yeah, you have this one right here.
Yes,
I don't have.
I mean the
Let's see.
interesting thing is that in the pipelines that
Okay.
we were
Yeah, I mean, the issue here is we are skipping the test, but skipping, I think, means that we're still calling the after each, even though we're skipping, and that's why we're skipping. Which is why we need to skip here. In order to get, if we want to get this one merged, I think we have to probably talk to somebody that has access to the milestone. I don't know if this actually is causing a.
My comment is not in the, I mean, for as is the PR. What I'm trying to say is what Paco has fixed with the cryo proxy. It is for one case, but it seems there are multiple lines of code where it is not being tested. That's what I'm trying to say. And if it was, if when initially was designed, the test was assuming that I'm going to reset or inject or do these things with the cry, and suddenly, due to the cry proxy now, they're undefined and they are not executed. My question is, what is the impact? And
yeah, I mean, so my understanding is that there is a separate job and a periodic for the CRI proxy, and they set a special config on the job to inject this proxy for the container runtime. What happened was all these serial jobs are just taking like a generic like node feature, and they're picking up this job and trying to run. And then that is why we're seeing logs like this, because they don't have the config specified. So all these jobs will, if they hit this cryo proxy path, would have a problem. And we skipped the test, which makes it green, but you're right. Looking at these logs, we're still seeing a problem. And one of the approaches I originally was going to take on this one was to actually filter this job out of all the serial jobs, but it's kind of painful because we do it feature by feature for each job. So I think I touched at least 10 or 12 different test configs across the periodics and the pre-submits to filter this one out. And then I think I still had problems with that. So then we decided to go with the skip. It was quicker, but yeah, I don't love skips in general because they hide the problem. And in this case, like we don't have an unclean, like we're still running, we're still hitting this test case and we're skipping, but we're not cleaning up. Well, after each, it's kind of, I don't know. I don't really know the impact of these logs. Like if the test is green, I think most people are happy. But it would be nice to get these logs cleaner because they are kind of quite confusing to look at for new people. I don't know.
but should we create an issue, an umbrella issue for this cry proxy to check all the tests? I mean, somehow, or how should we do it? Or put it in the agenda, not to forget it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, I don't really know, like, right now we're trying to, I mean, yeah, I think next release we should talk more about CRI proxy. I don't know if we need to push for a fix for this, as long as like the CI is, as long as these tests are green and not failing due to this. I think that's what we're looking at right now, but we can always talk about refining that if you want to kind of create a ticket. I do tend to prefer explicit skips in the test configs, just because I've been bitten by skips hiding problems before. Otherwise, I guess, Peter, should we switch to anything else, or do we want to just focus on the test grid today as part of the release?
Yeah, I mean, maybe doing bug triage just to make sure that there isn't any other sort of big. I mean, we can do bug triage with a focus on 132 issues
Okay.
to see if there's any other things that have popped up that we should be aware of.
Yeah, let me take a look. I haven't looked at the SIG Node CI board. Oh God. All right. Well, I'm not gonna
Yeah,
look
it's
at that
been a
one
couple
too.
of weeks since we triaged, so we have a bit of a backlog.
All right. Oh man. Okay. What should I? All right. Let's look up. All right. I don't see any. Well, if I trust this, I don't see any critical or urgent in the triage, so that's good. All right. So what I'm doing is just trying to look out which ones are higher priority. Let's look at this one. I think I'm aware of this one. I don't know if I would agree with this importance soon. Maybe I tagged it. Who tagged it as important soon? So it's from last year. Is it niche here? All right. I don't know if I agree with this importance soon, but we should probably look at it. Oh. Yeah, all right. I don't know. All right. I'm going to remove. It's been important soon for. Does anyone know what the prow command is to remove the priority one?
I would guess it's remove -priority,
Ah,
but that's a guess.
All right. All right. Well, okay. So okay. All right. I think we'll go ahead and all right. I don't see anything critical for this release. We got a lot of them. All right.
Yeah, so the question is, do we feel like trying to, cut into this backlog of triaging, or do we want to focus on more pressing matters?
Let me go ahead and let's look at the test board and then let me go through that one and try and see like what I think that's going to be more impactful for this release. Maybe.
Totally. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
All right. I'm just going to quickly look through these. All right. Okay. All right, we have a couple here. All right, these all look to be PRs. Yeah, I tried to remove this one. I don't know if I agree with Francesca. I don't know if I agree with this priority, but I'd be happy to get this one merged. For those of you who don't know, this is a device restart. Sorry, go on.
No, sorry. Go on.
I was saying for those of you who don't know, this is a test failure we have. We've already identified as flaky, and I think there are some questions about how accurate this test is, and now it's kind of gone to it's been permanent failing for a while now. I guess. Go on.
Permafailure brings questions, which is I am under the impression, but I didn't have time to deep dive, that this test may be obsolete. It made sense when it was introduced, but changes in the kubelet since then may have made it obsolete. So I would rather skip it, and when I have some time, sit and review and maybe remove it for good or fix it. So for the short term, I think we should skip.
Yeah, I mean, my thought is I'd almost would rather leave it in here red so that it's more of a notification than if it goes skip, we probably will forget. Unless you want to create, if you want to merge this, we could create an issue and you could assign it to yourself to like investigate this.
Yes.
I'll be fine. I'll be fine with that one if you want to go that route. I also don't know if this needs to go in 1.32. If you want, you'll have to reach out to the release team, I think. Or
in my opinion, the permafailure lowers the confidence. So I would remove or skip it, remove if we have an appetite for it, or skip it otherwise, and totally file an issue myself, which I'm going to do now.
Yeah, and so right, there is a comment on here. I guess I would maybe address that one. Otherwise, I think this is ready for, I'll put, yeah, needs reviewer. All right, so there, okay, this one we know. All right. Okay, and this is the one we talked about already. Oh, I got a comment on here. Yeah, I mean, so sorry. So Tiras, the one thing, I guess I'm just concerned, like we can merge this fix, but we still have the problem. Well, actually, I don't even know. Sorry, does your change? I'm not as familiar with the pod resize. This change is not impacted by the revert. Like this code didn't change.
The revert is it's a different story. This is the test that we were using for the pre-submits. I mean,
No, I know, but I guess the revert did have some changes in test ETE common.
no,
Or
no,
it did. No, it didn't.
no, I think no.
Okay.
If you go there in the revert of Pacos, it was the API, the fuzzer, and these other parts.
Yeah, there were a few other. I mean, there was some test code that was changed, so I was just trying to understand. Yeah, here. I mean, it says revert, but then down here I see.
But it's
Okay.
not the test, yeah, or?
No, yeah, you're right. It changed the feature. Okay. All right. And then here, okay. So that's it. All right then.
Yeah,
There's
I
no.
mean, if there was a problem, since it is now merged, I checked it, we will have the merge conflict, correct?
Yeah, we would. Okay then. I don't know. I'll let you tackle the milestone, but I can remove my hold.
Yeah, and I will focus on these windows. I mean, I'm curious also as to why the Windows doesn't work. I mean, that's things. Try to work on that.
Yeah. All right.
So it has already approved by Antonio.
Yeah. All right. We'll say done. Well, I'll do needs approver. There's not a great lane for the milestone. That's the only thing. Like this won't merge unless you find someone to add the milestone.
Yeah, currently it's on hold. That's a problem. Okay.
Okay. And then all right. So those were the main ones. Let's see. All right. Yeah, we got 10 minutes. Okay. All right. You just created this. Cool. Thank you. Okay. All right. Let's look at this one. All right. I am going to archive this one. This just means that this is not a test related PR. I don't know what this is at all. Okay. All right, this is, I'll be a reviewer for this one. Device plugin, I don't know what this means. Okay. All right. Oh, I don't know. This one. Francesco, does this change help here? Or is this just logging? Or I'm losing context on this one.
This one totally looks logging. Could help, but well, could we, I am CC'd. I will have another look.
Okay. All right. It seems like I will do waiting on the offer. Let me go ahead and I'll sign you.
Yes, please.
All right. I don't think this is related to us. Definitely not related to us. This seems to be another really large PR. That's not test code, or I already did that one. All right, I'm going to, I assume people are working on this one. Okay, this is one. All right, so I have a couple in here. Okay, Okay. All right. Pre-stop hook test suite. I do not know what this is. Anyone responded? Does anyone by chance know the context of this one?
No, I don't think I've seen this yet.
Okay. I'll just comment that maybe I'll ask him to I don't even know what to ask. I do not quite understand. Could you please explain? All right, I'm gonna leave this one. I'll leave it on waiting on the author, but I don't know. Yeah, whatever. Waiting on author. I'll do triage needs information. All right. Looks like a flake. Looks like it's an issue to do. Seems pretty green to me. Okay. Happened once. I don't remember this one. I don't think this is related to a test, though. Or maybe. All right, there are some tests in here, but it's tangentially related to that, so I'm going to archive this one. All right, this looks to be not test related. Not test related. This looks to be a feature, so I'm going to go ahead and archive this. This is another feature. This is another cryo proxy one that could be interesting. Yeah, there's some weirdness here in this one. All right, I'm going to all right. All right, we have 9 minutes left. Okay, everything's there, all labels. I don't. Does anyone know if that? Let me check real quick. I can answer that question. All right, this person looks correct. I can probably merge this one. Okay, this one. I remember this one. This was one of the features we had to revert due to a due to a test. Let's see. All right, I think it's much greener now. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and close this one. I don't feel like I'm missing something with this, but I'm gonna assume this person seems to be working with some other people in this one. I do remember there was something around, I think Sergey mentioned that there was a summer of code or maybe an intern helping with enhancing the pod lifecycle tests.
Yeah,
I'll
it's just,
ask.
I mean, regardless of who this person is, it seems like they're just, yeah, enhancing the testing. I think that this is a net positive for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, this one seems to make a bit more sense to me. Okay. Let's see, 18. All right, been making some progress. Okay, I do recognize this one. I'll say I'll do waiting on author. Gonna mark this one as important soon, just because I know that this feature we were trying to promote to stable. This release we had to revert it, and we noticed that there was some problems with the end-to-end tests. So we would like to address this in this next release for sure.
Sounds good.
Go is definitely not us. Does anyone know what the skip report does? Silence. I don't know. I'm taking silence to mean they don't know. I don't really know what that does.
Is Tim in the discussion?
He was assigned. All right, I'll tell you what. I'll bring this one to that Slack. Nodes in parallel. Okay. Looks like this one was held.
Yeah, I think we cannot do anything about it because I see Anish is working now to refactor it to run the test in separate namespaces, I think.
Yeah. Okay. I will go through and I'll finish these up today just to get us clean for next week. We are at time. So thank you everyone for a productive meeting of bug triage or test triaging.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
All right, everyone.
Good.
Bye-bye.